What is up, everybody? It is SPD, and welcome to another edition of Collision Control Center, live coast to coast last night. If you are in the East Coast like I am, you were up late watching Collision, and I can't wait for the playoffs, even though I love playoff sports, to be over so we can just get back on track, full throttle, normal times for Dynamite, normal times for Collision, and really push forward to an awesome summer of wrestling. But it continued last night down in El Paso with Collision, 2 hours of rock and rollin' wrestling. And this was definitely, I love Collision's just vibe because you're just getting so much wrestling and so jam packed in 2 hours of time. I mean, look at everything that was on this card, top to bottom, a lot of fun show, and got to give it to the crowd down in El Paso. I mean, 4 hours straight of wrestling is a lot of wrestling to watch. Even us super fans, you can get a little fatigued. So, Mind Runner and myself and FTD and Brent are definitely going to have to build up some fatigue for All In when that stadium show comes in. Let me check my current counter as it is today, Sunday, June 1st. We are 41 days away. But kicking off the show, Claudio Castagnoli versus Commander for a chance for the International Championship four-way qualifier match next week at Fyter Fest. Awesome match, rematch from the Continental Classic tournament. And man, Commander has shown like just continuing to just impress every single time he's in the ring. And even though this is more of a David versus Goliath in terms of size difference, I think the pairing and the chemistry was awesome and really high flying match, a really suspenseful match as well. But yeah, Claudio's strength pairing up with this littler guy, Commander, it just helps. It just played so well together. Like when they first fought at the Continental Classic, I really enjoyed that match, and this one continued beyond that. Makes sense for Claudio. Maybe this will lead to a feud with Brody and Claudio, two big meat men in that four-way match. And this is the international championship, and I like how that they're adding the respective fighters' flags below their name, to really play into that as well. So Claudio taking the win on this one, but Commander, man, I can't wait to see him moving forward. And I want him to get back into that tag team with Hologram. I think that is really where the money's going to be at with that. The Don Callis family, as Mind Runner talked about, asked me, do you think they're taking too many L's? And as I mentioned before, too, I think Collision Saturday night is the Callus family show. And we saw last night with the victory that they had over the Paragon and Tomohiro Ishii. But I feel like every time that the Callus family is featured on Collision, they're taking the W's. And so this is kind of their mainstay show, in my opinion, and I think that's the way they should run with it because the family's huge. So many different ways you can play this factor with the Callus family. We saw earlier in the show or after this match that he was trying to recruit Daniel Garcia. So, I mean, what's the limit of the family? He just wants more and more and more. And I love Callus is always just so smooth on the mic, on commentary, on backstage, his promo work, and in this and that. But I like that Rocky Romero and Trent are getting, a lot of focus as well. And I could see them going against the Hurt Syndicate very soon as well, just to, have more contenders for those AEW tag team titles right now, since there's no clear contender at the moment. Now, moving forward with this, I would love for the Paragon to shift gears into straight trios, as we talked about on our show before. Adam Cole losing to Fletcher eventually seems and hopes to be the path, and then Paragon can and just be a cohesive unit in a trios division that's not really that deep in terms of just raw trios teams. Now, I'm really happy to see Okata get more and more screen time, more and more ring time as of late. I think this is what I've been claiming for a while. Other than the Continental Championship tournament, he's been kind of hit or miss on and off the TV or on and off in the ring. But as of late, he's been wrestling more than I feel like ever before. This is his 12th or 13th title defense, as the commentator said, with that belt, which in theory doesn't seem like a lot since he's had it for over a year. But he needs to be. This is the wrestler we need him to be. Is people say he's a goat and say he's this, that, and the other, and huge following, especially leading into All In. I feel like put him in the ring a few more times and just take these, convincing victories, and then be like, what? Who wants to challenge me next? What's next? And then boom, Kenny Omega's music hits, and that leads us to the dream match rematch that we want at All In with Okada and Kenny Omega. I think that's definitely the money feud for sure. Now, Bowens, I'm a little torn with this one. You know, he just lost to Ricochet, he just lost to Okada, two very good wrestlers. However, you want to book him as a babyface, give him some victories before you give him back to back losses or losses in general. So, a little bit not as pleased with the booking on that part, but the big thing is Okada is so over. And especially you trying to put like back to that, trying to push Bowens as a baby face, red hot baby face. You even though Okada is a heel, you get the Okada chance, and that's not doing him any good for Bowens. Same thing with Ricochet. As much as a horrible heel he is, you don't want him to go against someone who's so fun and still gets chance. Ricochet. So I don't think I like Bowens getting the spotlight in terms of high caliber matches, but he was kind of put in a tough spot putting against those two. Now we talked about on our show, speaking of Ricochet, of recruiting. These are my two guys to pick with him, man. Gates of Agony, a convincing, dominant victory. They got some matching gear now. They're looking awesome and strong in the ring. And I loved them with the pairing of Brian Cage. And so the Cage of Agony. Now, this would be to me with Ricochet such an awesome trios. And immediately they could go against the Ops. And so the Ops are really, I think, needing some heel teams to go against. So you put Ricochet in the Gates of Agony versus the Ops for lead it to up to All In or wherever it may be. I could see them dethroning the Ops with some elite or other interference per se, or something to do with Hook. And or you could have the Ops rematch the Death Riders when Pac is healthy enough to return at All In. But I would love to see Ricochet versus and Gates of Agony form a trios, because two big men that can work, and then Ricochet being the leader of that pack, very, very impressive. Now, backstage, face to face, Swerve and Osprey. I'm really, I mean, obviously, two of my favorites in AEW, hands down. And I love both of them as baby faces. But going toe to toe, are we going to get another match between these two, which would absolutely just, burn the house down? No pun intended there. But I feel like I'm so invested in what's at stake here, what's the direction here, and how they're going to play this one out. I love what Osprey's doing to help put Hangman over, and what he did to help put Hangman over. And then the uncertainty of Swerve. And he admitted stuff here, and how he resurfaced where he's like, I know what I did over the last year and a half. So I'm curious if this is going to lead to either a tag team match versus the Bucks, or a head-to-head match leading into All In or beyond. Women's match of the night: Sky Blue versus Mina Shirakawa. Now, unfortunately, with all the stuff leading up on social with the, I guess, confirmed departure of Mariah May, which is very unfortunate. She was such a pivotal part of AEW, and I think she couldn't have been booked any better in AEW. However, if someone's got their heart set on being in WWE, by all means, if that's like your goal, by the ultimate goal, and you have the potential opportunity, I guess I don't blame you for that. But selfishly, I wish he was still here in AEW. But we're getting a new signing, an official signing with Mina, a new signing Thekla, and so the women's division is still growing. This, as we've spoken on our show last week, if you missed it, check it out on our YouTube channel. We booked the women's tag team inaugural title tournament, and round one is set. And so we're going to have to replace Mina's partner, since Mariah is out of AEW at the moment. But this match, love the back and forth. Unfortunately, the commercial break, as soon as the women's matches start, it's not fair to the division. But the big story is post-match, another tag team match forming. So this is going to be back-to-back weeks of tag team women's wrestling. I feel like we're starting to dabble in that more and more and more. If this trend continues, it's going to have to. And if you missed our tag team title tournament bracket, I'm going to show it right here. So we announced 8 teams for our women's tag team tournament. You have the 8 different teams that we announced live on air. If you want to see how we broke it down, we got some help from our Dynamite download squad, but here's all the teams right here. And, as I see here with Mina, we had Mariah, but I think we're going to make a bold decision there and replace her. And down there, Sky Blue and Julia Hart, two that just attacked. And we set this match of 4 before this kind of feud was kind of feeding in. So we could see, I mean, we could even just throw Tony in there since Tony's going to be there next week versus that tag team match. So 8 tag teams formed here. This is a hot take over here with Marina and Shayna Baszler, but I feel like next week, tune in. Every Thursday, we're going to advance to the next round until we have inaugural winners. Hopefully this will gain enough momentum within social and with AEW, with Tony Khan, to get tag team title tournament or titles on the women moving forward. Now, trios match, LFI versus Top Flight AR Fox. Banger match. I'm loving the LFI being more and more featured because a strong LFI should be unstoppable. I mean, Beast Mordos is so fun to watch, man. He could definitely be contender for top performer every single night. Everything he does is such a blend of styles, strength, agility, flip, and just, innovation. And then Roosh, it wouldn't be a match without Roosh's green cord strangling someone or hitting someone with it. And of course, signature Roosh, we got that tonight on Collision. Another one of those guys, I think the trios to the right, AR Fox and Top Flight, that's one of those trios that really is a nice blend together. AR Fox has kind of been in and out of tag teams, trios, multi-man matches and pairing up. He's like that wild card that can be paired up with anyone. He's just, can be blended with so many different styles. And so I feel like they should just establish them 3 as a trios and stick to it. But LFI is a group that strong enough should be I want to see them versus the Ops as well. Talk about beast versus beast, Haas versus Mordos, Joe versus Roosh, and Shibata versus Realistico. So like that's one of those matches I would love to see very in the near future when we're talking trios divisions. The main event of the night was Mascaro Dorado versus Hitchesero. And once again, putting the flags before the names for the International Championship qualifier. Got to give props to the crowd once again. This was a long, long night of wrestling, and they stayed through and thick and through, and especially through this match. They're firing up the guys. I love that AEW is featuring, I know we're on the road to Grand Slam down in Arena, Mexico, but that they're featuring a lot of luchadors. And it's the same thing for Collision. I feel like Collision is the show that's heavier into wrestling, heavy into luchadors, heavy into the Callus family. And I think that works. That's a key theme and method that is working moving forward. And I've always been a fan of Hitchesero, and I like his look and his dominant offense as well. So wrapping things up, we officially got the match set up. So you got Mascaro Dorado, Kenny Omega, Claudio, and Brody for the 4-way at Fyter Fest. Now, big news coming from AEW Dynamite Download is next Friday, June 6th at 10 p.m. Season 6 draft is going to be happening next Friday, Season 6 draft this Friday, June 6th, 10 p.m. live on our YouTube, X, and Instagram. If you want to be part of the draft, we had 9 teams total last season. It's a lot of fun. We're kicking things off as soon as we draft. Points will start going live that day, and then we will be playing all the way through All Out in September. So here's a couple of the rules that I want to share. If you're interested, send us a message, send us an email, send us a DM, anything like that to be part of this. So we're going to have 10 roster spots per team, 1 point per win per person. So if you have a trios match, everyone in that trios gets a point. For our draft sake, you get 60 seconds per pick. It's going to be a snake style draft. And then after y'all in down in Texas, we're going to add 3 members because a lot's going to change after the landscape of that. 3 members will be added, and the season will end after All Out in Toronto. Season 6, lots of fun, helps you stay invested into what's going on with AEW product and beyond. So, y'all, thank you. Join us this Thursday for Dynamite Download episode 190. And then the very next day is going to be our draft season 6. So have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. And we'll see you very soon.